Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistakir. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Creation, Chapter 14, The Disappearance of Lord Krishna, Text 9. Yasmad na sampada rajyam daraha pranaha kulam prajaha asan sapatna vijayaha lokaha cha yad anugrahat yasmana sampado rajyam yasmana sampado rajyam dara prana kulam prajaha dara prana kulam prajaha asan sapatna vijayo asan sapatna vijayo lokaschayat anugrahat lokaschayat anugrahat yasmanna sampado rajyam dara prana kulam prajaha asan sapatna vijayo lokaschayat anugraha yasmanna sampado rajam dara prana kulam praja asan sapatna vijayo lokaschayat anugraha yasmanna sampado rajam dara prana kulam prajaha asan sapatna vijayo lokaschayat anugraha yasmanna sampado rajam dara prana kulam prajaha asan sapatna vijayo lokaschayat anugraha yasmat from whom na our sampadaha opulence rajyam kingdom daraha good wives pranaha existence of life kulam dynasty prajaha subjects asan have become possible sapatna competitors vijaya conquering lokaha future accommodation in higher planets cha and yet by whose anugrahat by the mercy of. Translation. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. From Him only all our kingly opulence, good wives, lives, progeny, control over our subjects, victory over our enemies, and future accommodations in higher planets have become possible. All this is due to His causeless mercy upon us. Please repeat. From Him only, all our kingly opulence, good wives, lives, progeny, control over our subjects, victory over our enemies, and future accommodations in higher planets have become possible. All this is due to His causeless mercy upon us. Purport. Material prosperity consists of a good wife, good home, sufficient land, good children, aristocratic family relations, victory over competitors, and by pious work, attainment of accommodation in the higher celestial planets for better facilities of material amenities. These facilities are earned not only by one's hard manual labor or by unfair means, but by the mercy of the Supreme Lord. Prosperity earned by one's personal endeavor also depends on the mercy of the Lord. Personal labor must be there in addition to the Lord's benediction. But without the Lord's benediction, no one is successful simply by personal labor. The modernized man of Kali Yuga believes in personal endeavor and denies the benediction of the Supreme Lord. Even a great sannyasi of India delivered speeches in Chicago protesting the benedictions of the Supreme Lord. But as far as Vedic Shastras are concerned, as we find in the pages of Srimad Bhagavatam, the ultimate sanction for all success rests in the hands of the Supreme Lord. Maharaj Yudhishthira admits this truth in his personal success, and it behooves one to follow in the footsteps of a great king and devotee of the Lord to make life a full success. If one could achieve success without the sanction of the Lord, then no medical practitioner would fail to cure a patient. Despite the most advanced treatment of a suffering patient by the most up-to-date medical practitioner, there is death. And even in the most hopeless case, without medical treatment, a patient is cured astonishingly. Therefore, the conclusion is that God's sanction is the immediate cause for all happenings, good or bad. Any successful man should feel grateful to the Lord for all he has achieved. Om Ajnanatam Randasya Jananjana Shalakaya Chakshu Sanmiritam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Mukham Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langete Girim Yat Kripatamam Mande Shri Gurum Dinataranam Paramananda Madhum Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram Shri Krishna Chaitanya Nityananda Sodito Gododaya Pushpavanto Chitra Sando Tamonudo. Okay. Yasmanna sampado rajyam dara prana kulam praja asan sapatna vijayo lokaschayadanugrahat. From him only all our kingly opulence, good wives, lives, progeny, control over our subjects, victory over our enemies, and future accommodations in higher planets have become possible. All this is due to His causeless mercy upon us. So you see, rather we hear Yudhishthira Maharaj lamenting the possible disappearance of Krishna. And at the same time he's glorifying Krishna. He is worried, he is concerned, he's seeing symptoms of Kali Yuga progression. And that's the feeling of separation comes out in different ways, in different types of devotees. So here we see Maharaj Yudhishthira's feeling of losing Krishna. he feels, or rather he in his heart he knows Krishna's gone. and still he's in, one can say, when someone dies, there is a stage you go through, it's a denial phase, So in essence, you can see Maharaj Yudhishthira, in speaking all these things, he's hoping against hope that Krishna still is around, and that these symptoms are just a phase in the circumstances, so to speak. So his glorification comes out spontaneously also. And what he says is true. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada talks about how, most of the things that people want materially, what they do normally is they go and worship the demigods. Generally all these things, good wife, good husband, good home, land, marry into a rich family, victory, over your friends, over some competition, right? The Olympic stars, they're praying, let me be the winner, let the other guy lose, and all these prayers for material things, and these are easily attained when the practitioner worships demigods. And Srila Prabhupada writes even in the Bhagavad Gita that even the demigods cannot actually sanction. You can pray to the demigods, but still they can't give it unless the Paramatma or the Super Soul sanctions. Upadrasta manta cha bharta bhokta maheshwara. Upadrasta manta, atmanta. So Upadrasta, he is the seer as well as the permitter. So he permits. It's not like we deserve anything. Sometimes we think we deserve things, we demand and we say, I've chanted my 16th round, where's Krishna Prema? Right? We demand. Actually, we feel that like that, I've done 16, I've followed everything nicely, why am I not feeling it, What we don't understand is that the prerogative is with Krishna. Okay? You cannot demand from Krishna. You can demand from an ordinary living entity, but from Krishna it's not, you can't. It's the other way around. You just have to say, Krishna, please. If you so desire, if you believe I have achieved certain level that you consider to be good, please bestow your mercy. So that's how we approach Krishna. In fact, when Srila Prabhupada was not feeling well, his disciples were asked, what should we do? How do we pray? So Srila Prabhupada wrote for them and say, you pray to the Lord, and in the prayers he said, if you so desire, you please protect our spiritual master. If they desire. So that's how it is. It's not I desire. But then you may think, then what is the value, of our endeavors then? The endeavor is necessary to show that we are willing to do what Krishna wants. Right or not? Otherwise, how does Krishna know that you are willing to do? Of course, he is the Paramatma. He understands from within the heart your consciousness like that. But in any case, even the demigods cannot grant you what you pray to them. Just like when Hiranyakashipu was worshipping Brahma, we think that he pleased Brahma and he was given the blessings. But actually it is the Super Soul, Narayana, Vishnu, who allowed Brahma to give him those blessings. Of course, later on, when Narasimhadev killed Hiranyakashipu, he looked at Brahma and said, don't you dare give such boons again. He was angry with him. So, yeah, he sanctions it, but at the same time, unrealistic demands are not acceptable. So this personal labor, Srila Prabhupada says, must be there in addition to the Lord's benediction. But without the Lord's benediction, one's endeavor is never successful. Now, if you do some activity, it must be, like Rupa Goswami says, it must be somehow connected to Krishna. Meaning you're doing it to please Krishna. Meaning you're doing it to please his devotees. Meaning you're not doing it for selfish interests. Oftentimes we fail to see that subtlety in our hearts, where we actually do it for our own sense gratification, We have to be very careful, whether we preach to someone, or whether we go out on books, or whether we cook a preparation for Krishna. We have that subtle ahankar, false ego, thinking, I did it, I did it my way, right? And you go out on books, you do a few books, and then you think, wow, I'm so good, But it's not that, I had a real life experience many years ago, I was going out on books, and the whole day nobody took any books. And it was like, my God, what's wrong with me? Do I look horrible, or is some people seeing something wrong with me, like that? And then I was like, Krishna, that's it, okay, I can't do it, And I was near a railway station at that time. So then at that time, the people were just at the end of the day, they're coming through. So the train stops. So many people came out, and I was like, I wasn't even attempting anymore. I just had enough, So then the first lady comes, she smiles at me, comes straight up to me and says, can I have the book? I'm like, what's happening? So she took the Bhagavad Gita, and right behind her, another guy comes smiling and says, I want one too, And within half an hour, all the books were gone. I was just standing there thinking, what just happened, It wasn't my endeavor at all, I can tell you. I did put endeavor in trying to distribute the books, but it wasn't that I was doing it. It was all Krishna's doing, And then I realized, you just go out there and look for some soul that needs some help, that's all. That's your job. You're not the one who's doing it anymore. So it is sanctioned by the Lord, always sanctioned by the Lord. It's never not sanctioned. It's never, sometimes we say it's fated, right? It is fated, but it's written down, Krishna is going to sanction it. So how is this sanctioning come about? It comes about through your desires, actually, and your karma. So therefore, Upadrasta mantascha bharta bhakta maheshwara. So he, as a seer and permitter, he understands your desire. And it may not be immediately that he's going to sanction it. It could be many, many lifetimes later. Because you may not be qualified sometimes to receive that benediction. Sometimes we think, oh man, if I had $1 billion, $100 million, I will help the temple, I will build extra, I will build 3 stories high. We'll think like that, But when the money comes, you'll think, well, actually, I need this for my this, my that, It comes like that, slowly but subtly. For example, you may be given something, say, if you got extra, please give it to other devotees. So let's say samosas, you got extra samosas, then please give it to all the rest. Then as you think about it, you think, maybe I should keep 2. Maybe I should keep 3, right? So that consciousness comes in, that selfish intent comes in. So Krishna knows when we are ready. He's with us all the time, and he knows exactly when you're ready, and then he sanctions it. So when he allows, just like when Prabhupada mentions this many times. If you read the Lilamrita, many times he works hard to get the funds to help the Gaudiya Math movement. So often he tries, but he always seemed to fail. Finally he lost his job, everything. And then when he gave up everything, then when he was going around the world, he got so many devotees joining him, so much wealth was coming in. Then he was saying, Krishna just gave everything. So similarly, we can understand that at times, in our endeavor for certain things, when it doesn't happen immediately, we should understand we are not ready. We are not ready yet. Krishna wants something from us. Krishna wants us to make more advancement. So we should realize that very quickly and then approach the Lord, approach His devotees and say, what else should I do to purify my activities, myself? How do I improve my service attitude? That is what Krishna wants. Ultimately, each and every one of us should understand that when we are in Goloka Vrindavan, we are only serving Krishna. So the service attitude is one of the most important and most fundamental activity that we have to develop in a nice way. It's important. If we don't get it right now, then the chances are we may have to take birth again to get it right. It's not that, oftentimes devotees say this, and it may be true to some extent, that, well, I depend on my Guru's mercy. I depend on Prabhupada's mercy. True, we all depend on the Guru and Srila Prabhupada's mercy. But if we do not put in that endeavor, as Prabhupada says, then it's not going to matter. It's not going to work. In fact, endeavor is necessary, and the Super Soul watches that endeavor very carefully. If you look in the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 18, verses 3 and 4, let me read it out to you all. No, not this. 13 maybe, yeah. Yeah. 13 and 14. Panchaitani mahabaho karanani nibodhame sankhya kritante proktani siddhaye sarva karmanam. O mighty armed Arjuna, according to the Vedanta, there are 5 causes for the accomplishment of all action. Now learn of these from me. So Krishna is telling Arjuna, and he's not saying I am saying, he's saying according to the scriptures, according to Veda. And what are those 5 things? Adhisthanam tada karta karanam cha pratak vidam vividas cha pratak chesta daivam chaivatra panchamam. The place of action, the body, the performer, the various senses, the many different kinds of endeavor, and ultimately the Super Soul. These are the 5 factors of action. And then finally Krishna says, Shariravan manobi yad karma prarabhate naraha nyayam va viparitam va panchaite tasya hetavaha. Whatever right or wrong action a man performs by body, mind or speech is caused by these 5 factors. That means the Super Soul is always there. Your endeavor is necessary, but the Super Soul is always watching. And then Krishna ends saying, therefore one who thinks himself the only doer, not considering the 5 factors, is certainly not very intelligent and cannot see things as they are. Therefore we should understand our endeavors is necessary, but it should be in line with Krishna for it to have a positive effect in our life. But if the endeavor is a selfish endeavor, then the outcome is unknowable for us. We don't know what can take place. But whatever it is, the endeavor we put, whether it's for material reasons or selfish reasons, it is ultimately sanctioned by the Lord. But when you get there, depends on your qualification. Depends on whether you deserve it or not. So it could be both pious activities, it could be impious activities. The results will come as soon as the Lord decides it is due. So sometimes we know when karma phala, when it fructifies, right? And then it suddenly you say, why this thing befell me? Why now? Because it's time. It's due. And the Lord has determined this is the appropriate time for you to experience such shortcomings or such misgivings or difficulties. But in all circumstances, an intelligent person, as Krishna says in the 18th chapter, he will understand these are due to my endeavors, my past endeavors or my present endeavors. Therefore, I am only suffering my own actions. And it is only sanctioned by the Lord. And it's His mercy that allows me to now recognize that I am suffering. A person who cannot see he is suffering is because he is covered in the modes of material nature. What is the difference? What gives between a devotee and one who's covered by the modes of nature? What is the difference? The difference is in performing devotional activities, one quickly comes out of the three modes of material nature. And therefore, his intelligence is in a pristine stage to recognize that he is suffering due to his own faults or problems. And that he can rectify those situations if he endeavors to please the Supreme Lord and His devotees. And that's why in the 10th canto, Brahma says, Tattenu kampam su samikshamanam. He agrees, yes, I deserve it. But I understand this is sanctioned by the Lord. And therefore, I am happily going to accept these reactions in this life. So even Yudhishthira Maharaj therefore says here, he says, whatever I had, my victory over my enemies, all these people, all this opulence, everything is because the Lord has kindly bestowed on me. That's His causeless mercy. Causeless mercy means what? We hear this often. What does it mean, causeless mercy? Yeah, we haven't done anything to deserve it. But the Lord feeling that, He deserves it now. I want to bring him back. So He creates that situation for us to recognize that I am having difficulty in this material world. Why am I suffering this? Many great devotees go through this. And then finally they realize, the Lord is so kind. He put me in this situation. When Prabhupada was in the marketplace, I think he was distributing BTG, a cow came and gored him, and then he fell down. So at that time he wasn't thinking all the bad things. He was thinking that the Lord is so kind to me, to show me the difficulties in living in this material world. And later on he said, when he remembered those things, he felt ecstasy. How many of us will feel happy thinking something bad happened for me 10 years ago? Oh wow, that was a good experience. So as we progress in our consciousness, we see things in a different perspective, right? The view of an ordinary mundane person is clouded by a kaleidoscope of lenses that he wears. So he sees it through different ways. But a devotee sees it only through one way, the way Krishna wants him to see things. So when we read Prabhupada's purports, when we see his actions, his activities, Prabhupada wants us to teach each and every one of us to see the way Prabhupada is seeing. So when we tackle a problem, we should tackle the problem the way Prabhupada would tackle the problem. How would Prabhupada approach this issue in a temple? How would Prabhupada approach if I'm encountering a person who's discussing about the spiritual topics? How would Prabhupada answer these things? So when we think like that, then we are automatically purifying our consciousness and our intellect. This is a great way of purifying ourselves, to think how Prabhupada would do that. And then our answers would be in line with the mood and the mission of our Acharya, which is what we all need to think like. Yeah? And then in dealing with people, we always will fall back in thinking how the spiritual master, how Prabhupada would handle this situation. So it's very important for us to think like that. If we don't think like that, then we won't be thinking like Maharaj Yudhishthira also. We won't think it is Krishna's causeless mercy. Because if you read many of the purports, Prabhupada always attributes his success to his spiritual master or to Krishna. Never to himself. Very seldom, maybe 1 or 2 sentences here and there, he'll say, we were fortunate enough to do something. Very rare. But in most cases, he always gives thanks to Krishna and his spiritual master. Therefore, Srila Prabhupada again writes here, it behooves one to follow in the footsteps of a great king and devotee of the Lord to make life a full success. It's very important for us to understand what he means by that. That means we have to follow. Here, Maharaj Yudhishthira is already a Mahajan, so we should follow in his footsteps because he gives us good example of how he handled his life. So similarly, we should follow how Prabhupada handled situations in his life like that. And how Maharaj Yudhishthira admits that Krishna is behind everything. More often than not, when we endeavor to do some things, we think we are the ones doing it, Or I did it my way, I'm successful. It's not like that, As a devotee, when you are successful, it's not because of your endeavor, it's because of the causeless mercy of the Lord plus the mercy of all the devotees. You never know who you pleased. And you may think it's an ordinary devotee, but the super soul is in each and every one of us. So when you please even a simple devotee, the super soul is pleased with you, and therefore the blessings are going to come. When the blessing will come, we do not know, but it will come because you have pleased the super soul. And the super soul knows exactly when to give the blessings. Again, I emphasize that fact. Because of our lifestyle, because of the way we grew up, because of the conditioning in our lives, we think that we deserve something and we want the results to be immediately, right? Sometimes we can prepare everything so nicely and plan everything so wonderfully, but when the execution comes, you fail. And then what? You cry? Or do you accept that, yes, I have made these mistakes, my Lord, I'm so sorry that I couldn't fulfill and perform the activities as I intended to. When you try to think that, the Lord is unfair and so on, you will actually feel more suffering and pain. But when you give thanks to the Lord and say, Lord, I think I was so arrogant that you are now teaching me a lesson, then you'll feel the burden already gone. It lessens. The Lord is so kind like that, So one of the things that we can take from this purport is that one should be very, very grateful to Krishna. Brahmanda Brahmate Kona Bhagyavan Jeev Guru Krishna Prasade Bhakti Lata Beach. That all of us are here due to someone's blessings. The Lord Himself gave us the blessing to approach devotees, and the devotees in kind gave us the blessings to take up devotional service. We cannot do devotional service without the blessings of devotees. It's not possible. We have to understand this. These are all critical things in our day-to-day Krishna consciousness. So being grateful is one of the fundamental principles of practicing sadhana bhakti. Coming to the Lord and thanking Him, coming to the devotee. Seeing a devotee, one should be so happy. To say, oh, look at this Prabhu, he's so nice. He's always coming to Mangala Arati, he's inspiring me. Right? If there's only one person in the temple for Mangala Arati, how long do you think that devotee will be inspired? Unless he or she is a pure devotee. Otherwise, they won't last long. They may be there for a few years. I've seen it, They may come for 4 or 5 years, but after that they'll go away, What happened? What gives? Because they are not enthused enough, You can artificially sustain certain things with determination and so on, but the taste, if it doesn't take place, you cannot maintain it. So that's why you need the mercy of the devotees and the Lord. Please, my dear Prabhu, Mataji, please, you be kind to me, you pray for me, you please pray that I'll always remain in the shelter of the devotees. Please kindly bestow your mercy like that. Because that's what we want. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, right, if I take a bird, let me be an insect in the house of a Vaishnava. Why does he say that? Because the devotees can take you back to the lotus feet of Krishna. So we don't want association, material association, because they will take us away from Krishna. Not that they are evil people or bad people or things like that, but because associating with materialists means we are going to lose our attraction for Krishna. Why? Because we are all tatastha. Do you know what tatastha means? Marginal. Jiva-atma is very special potency of Krishna. He's tatastha, means he's easily attracted by the material energy as well. And so he endeavors to be attracted either by the matter or by Krishna. But it seems that he's easily attracted by the material energy more often than not. All that glitters is not gold. That's what the material energy is. It seems to glitter and seems to offer wonderful existence. But we have all experienced the happiness that we get is just temporary. And it's not sustainable. Even if we have a wonderful material life, we find that we have to give up that existence. Sooner or later we have to give it up, Just like the body, right? We may be very proud of our body. Hey, I'm strong and wonderful and beautiful. I'm not sick. I've never been sick for 30, 40 years, I've seen devotees like that, 70, 80 years, no sickness, nothing. Suddenly, bang, one day. Back broke, bedridden. And they say, I was thinking I'll never get sick, or I'll have an easy time chanting and so on. But now Krishna is making me realize that my life is not meant to be like that. Or that I haven't given enough attention to Krishna. So Krishna is kind in many ways, but it's how we see or perceive things. Like I said the other day also, you can see half a glass of water, or you can say it's half empty or half full. So you can be either pessimistic or optimistic. Right? So when we deal with Krishna, we have to always try to see the good in his actions. And that's a very difficult challenge. So how do we come to that stage? A lot of service attitude, a lot of development of humility. This is important. If that happens, then immediately we'll see everything is the causeless mercy of the Lord. Anything we get, we see as a mercy of the Lord, Then when you go to India, you go on a parikram and so on, then you will experience a higher taste actually. You will develop more the consciousness of relishing Krishna's pastimes, Mahaprabhu's pastimes. You'll say, wow, so nice. He took that endeavor for us. Prabhupada took that endeavor for us. You come to relish those things. You tend to appreciate people who have given their life for Krishna. Irregardless whether they are favorable to you or not, but you appreciate them in a different light altogether. And then the gravity in your own consciousness will be different, because then you are also thinking of in how many ways you can improve your Krishna consciousness. You will not be thinking of, where's my, how soon I'm going to go to the Sunday feast and get my plate first. You won't even think like that anymore. You're thinking, how can I improve myself, or let me serve the devotees, let them get everything, like that. So the taste will come like that as we endeavor properly. It's not so much that the endeavor is not there or not necessary, but the endeavor must be for the right reasons. Because remember, we are tatastha, easily attracted by the material energy. And even the material energy, even when what it gives us, it's sanctioned by the Supreme Lord. Maya dekshena prakriti suyate sa chara chara. I am supervising the material energy, Krishna says. I oversee akshena. The Maya is under my vision. And under my vision, it's acting according to what each jiva requires. So sometimes we wonder why this mode's acting on me more strongly today than yesterday. So you have to retrace your footsteps and see what are the activities I've done that has allowed this mode to affect me. That's proper intelligence. That's the proper use of one's intelligence. Krishna consciousness is a practical application. Prabhupada gave it to us so practically. So we should also think in that sense, in that way also. How it's affecting me. Why is this thing affecting me? Why is this Prabhu, when he says that, it makes me feel good, but when this Prabhu says, it makes me feel bad? Why? It should not actually. One should come to a stage of neutrality actually. 5th chapter Bhagavad Gita, right? Everything should be equal. See the stone, the pebble and the gold. One should be able to come to that stage. But why is it that we see those things? So we have to become very intelligent in Krishna consciousness. Where do we get our intelligence? How does our intelligence get purified? We have to give time for Srila Prabhupada's book. Minimum actually devotees should be reading at least 1 hour a day. If the devotees, as devotees, if we don't give such time to read Krishna Prabhupada's book, how do we make sure or sustain our own philosophy? If we don't have the backing of the proper understanding, how are we going to actually understand what our actions are correct or wrong or right like that? Or if some devotee says you're wrong, then you're thinking, well, maybe yes, no, I don't accept. But Prabhupada said there's 3 criteria, right? How we judge things. Guru, Sadhu and Shastra. So do you have sufficient Shastrical understanding? So all these purports, Prabhupada says, is ecstasy. In one sense, what it means is he has revealed to us how to use this knowledge to go back to Godhead. Therefore, he is in ecstasy. So when he reads that, he knows, yes, now if the devotee does this, he'll go back to Godhead. So the pure devotee, when he reads, he sees so many ways of getting back to Godhead. So he's so excited and happy for us. And so we need to come to this proper ground. The gravity should be there, that we understand that our journey in this world is just meant for one thing, to purify our consciousness, to be able to serve Krishna nicely and his devotees. Serving starts with devotees. We need to know how to serve one another. So therefore, Srila Prabhupada set up the temple environment where we can develop this consciousness, where we lovingly serve one another. In the Nectar of Instruction, Prabhupada says the movement ISKCON is meant for dadati pratigrananti, this principle of loving exchanges. And if we cannot do that, then Prabhupada will be crying, looking at us, not able to do such things. So somehow or other, we should grow beyond the limits of our bodily confinement. Become Mahatmas. Each and every one of us should become Mahatmas. So that when people see us, they see love. Someone new walks in, they feel, oh, these people give me so much love and affection. I don't deserve it, but they're so kind. Right? It's not only the new people should get all the love, and the poor devotees who are serving for 5-10 years, you don't show love. Our movement is good at that, No, we should extend, Maybe you cannot relate to them so much, but you can actually, for example, for that devotee's birthday, you can organize a birthday party. You may not talk to them so much, but you can organize the party, which means you don't hold grudge in your heart. And you invite all the devotees to bestow their blessings so that devotee can go back to Godhead. That's one way of doing it. The other way is, every day you pray to Shri Radha Gopinath. Say, Gopinath, you are so wonderful, you attract the minds of the gopis. Please attract the minds of all the devotees to your lotus feet. Gopinath, please. You can tell like that. Or you can say, Gopinath, this devotee is like this, he doesn't look happy. Please help him. I want him to be happy. I want this devotee to be successful in book distribution, in his service to Krishna, like that. So then, when we do that, then there's an automatic purification in our hearts also. You understand? When we take the endeavor to pray for someone, then the Lord Paramatma in our heart becomes pleased with us, saying, this person is genuine. In the beginning it will be difficult, but it's practice. As you keep praying, it becomes real. Say, no, I want this person to be successful. Like that. Then you can say, damn myself, to hell with me, as long as, just like the Brahmanas, right? The husbands of the Brahmanas' wives, they say, fee with all this thing, we can't even pray to Krishna. So you can say, hell with whatever I have, but I want this devotee to become a happy person, a good devotee. So when we develop such consciousness, then we will quickly see the results and the blessings of the Lord, causeless mercy coming to us. The Ladini Shakti potency will descend on us. And then we will enjoy Krishna consciousness for what it should be. All right, I'll stop here. Comments, questions, corrections, additions? Yes, Prabhu.
People, conditioned souls who are unaware of the presence of the Super Soul in their heart, if they give their wishes to the devotee, does that also make the devotee?
Yes, yes, yes. Anyone gives blessings is worth it, yeah. Yeah. Anyone can give blessings, from a child to an elderly person, because even if they don't know about Krishna and so on, they have accumulated what we call piety. A person can be evil also, but there's some level of piety also in their heart, so they can give blessings based on that level of piety they have. So you can give blessings. It's not that a junior devotee cannot pray for a senior devotee, or sometimes it appears to be very arrogant, but if he's genuinely praying for someone, it's nothing wrong with that, Yeah, yeah. And sometimes you see even Prabhupada tells his disciples, you please bless me or pray. They're like, what? Right. So it is out of humility they will say that, yeah. But of course you can say, whatever I have, I'll bless, but I'm not qualified to bless you, in humility also. Yeah. Which is true, we are not qualified. Yeah. But yes, anyone can give blessings. Even a child can bless you, but may not be so powerful. Yeah. Anything else? Yes.
Thank you so much I just got the last speaker. Some associations, even in the devotee congregation, some associations even pull us down sometimes.
Even?
When we are motivated to do something.
Yeah.
So is it better to keep yourself away and still, obviously, not be envious of others and then still bless them, but even we are conditioned ourselves. So is it good to keep ourselves away? Is it offensive? Or how do we take that? Because sometimes it also hampers ourselves if we continue to associate in such type of environment.
Yes, yes. So when the association is not going to make you be in a positive consciousness, then yes, you don't associate in that sense. But as I said, let's say every time you deal with this devotee, you go home angry. Example. So you think you should avoid the person, but actually if you analyze the devotee, he or she may have wonderful qualities. It's just that maybe you and that person cannot relate properly. And so therefore, the feelings in the heart must be true feelings before you decide not to associate first. Yeah. But if the person is inimical to you and you have seen a pattern, that every time they do that to you, then you can avoid them, but don't wish them bad. Rather, you should pray that they become pure devotees.
It can happen in the background as well.
Yes,
The way you were saying to organize this, that sometimes it just doesn't work.
yes,
And you can still wish them good.
yes,
Because you're conditioned. Right?
yes,
We have to protect ourselves as well.
yes,
That's
that's true. But you can organize a birthday party for them, but they did not know. Yeah. The reason why I'm saying is that so that there's nothing in your heart that is hampering you, that when you go, you cannot go back to Godhead if you have such feelings in your heart. Because Krishna, as a super soul, loves each and every one of us. Right? And then if you say, I hate this guy, then Krishna is like, what? What's wrong with you? Like that. He feels that way. So therefore, somehow or other you should overcome those things and become a better person. And you know what? Krishna will arrange such that the other devotee may feel sorry and ask for forgiveness. It has happened in the past and it will happen in the future. But you should have faith that Krishna knows what's good for us, which is what the whole purport here is about. The Krishna sanctions certain things, but for a good reason. Yeah. Hare Krishna. Anything else? All right. Thank you very much. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Gaura Premanandi. Jai.